Going on, everyone? Retire on dividends here, driving to work. Yay. So, it's been a while since I've done a Commute podcast. Took off last week, which was amazing because I didn't go anywhere. Nothing better than taking a vacation from work and actually staying home. Because there's plenty to do at home that, because usually if you take off of work and you go on a vacation, you actually go somewhere, you come home and you got nothing done, right? Everything at home still has to get done. But when you take off of work and you actually stay home and you get shit done around the house, it actually lasts. Like, I feel like the time lasts much longer when you do that. So, and I need to start doing that more. Not to mention, it's a lot cheaper because instead of paying for, a vacation that costs who knows what nowadays, you're essentially free, right? We have these homes that we buy and we have mortgages on that, we never even use, right? We go, we live there, we sleep there, but Monday through Friday, we're out of the house working, right? So we don't use it then. And on the weekend, we're doing errands, I'm running around, this and that. So we're not really in it then. We really just use it to sleep and occasionally have people over or hang out on the couch if you have the time, watch TV. But you never really take off work for the purposes of enjoying your own damn home, right? You don't get the chance to do that often. So, that's exactly what I did last week, and it was awesome. Highly recommend it, for sure. I know people call it a staycation, whatever the hell you want to call it, but like, to me, it's just, it's just a normal vacation, right? I don't really go anywhere normally anyway, but if I did, I'd go to be my parents' beach house. But again, I live by the beach anyway, so it's not like I can't stay home and go to the beach at home. But anyway, enough of that. So I did get a comment, and I'm happy I actually remembered the comment, because people comment and sometimes I forget half the time. And they asked, on your next podcast Commute, and I apologize, I do not remember your name, but can you talk about how you, I guess, liquidated your Roth IRAs without penalty? So, which makes me, think, all right, maybe I'll just do the quick recap of why I even did that and what my goals were. So, before all these high yielders came out and whatnot, I had, the typical strategy like everyone else had, which was, the 401k, try to max it out. I never actually maxed out my 401k because the max for 401ks are like 19,000. And then, the goal was always max out your Roth IRA. And I was going to invest in aggressive growth stocks and not high yield, but high dividend growth stocks. So I was going to invest in companies like, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, who's a couple others, not 3M. 3M, what a disaster that one was. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, things like that, right? And then eventually I would build up a dividend income when I'm retired, right? I would eventually, I ran the numbers, I would have maybe hopefully a couple to a few mil at retirement. I could produce maybe 5% dividend yield by then, and retire and live comfortably. But in that example, I'm working till at least 62 years old. And even then, I was like, most people, like, when you even if you tell people you're going to retire at 62, they don't believe you. Not to mention 60 or 55 or even 50, nobody can understand that. But anyway, that was always my goal, right? Max out all retirement vehicles, all Roth vehicles, and retire at 59 and a half to 62 years old. No later than that, right? So, in my eyes, that was early, right? That was normal. I was just automatically going to work that long and retire at that age because that's what people do, and that's the only route that you can do. And then keep in mind, I was well aware of options. I have traded options, in the past, so I was well aware of how much money you can make. But it wasn't until these funds came out that it kind of just like woke my ass up a little bit, right? And it made me realize that there's other ways to actually produce an income. And it's not just through the corporate company dividend, right? I'm not relying on Apple to grow their dividend year in and year out, or pay their dividend. They're 3%. Well, Apple pays like 1%, but you get the gist. Or even Altria. Oh my God, high yield, high risk, right? 8% yield or whatever they have. I'm not reliant on them. So, but now I can be reliant on options trading, right? So these funds came out, which, like everyone else, I didn't trust them, believe them, or, even think about them once I saw them. But then once you dig further, you're like, okay, let me see what they're doing. Okay, that's actually possible. Okay, what's the downside? All right, limits the upside. Okay, but it produces a pretty damn good income. So, all right, let me run some numbers. Long story short, once I ran numbers, I'm like, oh my God, and it just changed my whole way of thinking. So at the time, in my taxable brokerage, I didn't really have that much money because I put everything in retirement accounts. And I was kind of pissed off about that. I'm like, damn it, because I'm investing in these funds through what little money I could put in each month. And at the time, me and my wife were still working. So I made the decision that I'm going to look into my Roth IRA accounts. Now, what I mean by that is people always tell you, and you always hear, look at this guy riding my ass. Where do you want me to go, buddy? People always tell you that you can take out your contributions from your Roth IRA. You always hear it and you're like, I would never do that. That's stupid. Why would anyone do that? And then, eventually I'm like, you know what? Let me look into this. So I looked into it about 50 different ways. I even called my brokerage because I was not comfortable doing it, because God forbid I screw something up and I have to pay taxes on all that. But long story short, the bottom line is, the answer to that is, this guy is like in a rush to get nowhere. Like, where are you going, buddy? Oh, have fun. Go speed to work, jackass. Oh my God, sometimes, this is what I won't miss, right? The idiots on the road. Anyway, what the hell was I saying? So, the point is about the Roth. So, I did my research, I looked into it, and in summary, as long as I take out the contributions, which is the money you put in, the money you invested in the account. For example, if you maxed out your Roth IRA one year, $6,000 or whatever it was at that time, you can take back out that $6,000. You cannot take out what that $6,000 has earned. So any income, any dividend income, any capital appreciation, you cannot touch, or else that you will have to pay a penalty on, and that you will have to pay taxes on. So, I did not want any part of that. So I did not want to pay any additional taxes or any 10% penalty or whatever the penalty is that they decided to be. So what I did is I calculated all of my contributions from day one of these IRAs, these Roth IRAs, which wasn't much, but I calculated how much I contributed into both mine and my wife's Roth IRAs, and I decided to withdraw exactly that amount to the penny. And the reason was I wanted to put that into a taxable account so that the income that I earn with that money can be used now. Okay? And again, the reason for that is I had hopes, and I still have hopes, of retiring early. And early to me was no longer 59 and a half. It was 55. It was 50. It was even earlier. Again, there is no set number here. It's just the goal of when I get there. So that is why I withdrew my contributions from my Roth IRA. And a lot of people are going to hear this and say, well, that's the dumbest thing ever. You now cannot take advantage of the tax benefits of the Roth. But again, there's many arguments to this. Number one, I have a Roth 401k, and the majority of my money is in there. So I match, and I also changed that too. I only put in what the company matches. That's it. Everything else, every other dime I can afford to invest in, it goes in my taxable account, which right now is nothing, unfortunately, because we're living off of one income. But the point is, I don't want to be locked in to this retirement age anymore. I don't want it to be like that, all right? I don't even want any freaking retirement accounts. You know, if I were to go back, I would only do the company match, and that's it from day one. And that's just me, all right? Because in the beginning, again, I started the job I'm at now, like 24 years old, right? By then, I had many other jobs too, many 401ks that I closed out. But in summary, you know, you get your first full-time job. You're like, all right, how much can I put my 401k? My number was always like 10%. And then I was listening to Dave Ramsey, and I was like, you know what? I'll do 15%. I'll do 15%, and that was my number. So, and I did it for a while. I was doing 15%, and then obviously, you know, this all happened, and well, we moved. We upgraded the house, so I had to lower it for that reason and this reason. But anyway, it was around like 10-12% once I found out about this, and so I decided, okay, my new goal is obviously number one priority is support your family, right? Pay the bills, support your family. And number two is build out this income source, this dividend income source, this retire now account. And I'm going to build this sucker out so that I'm going to make what my wife is currently making. And guess what? She can stay home with the kids. It was never even a thought that was possible before this. It wasn't. It was just unheard of. We just both assumed we were going to work like dogs, you know, and just work it out somehow with 2 kids. But then once, again, I ran the numbers, my immediate thought was not, well, of course, long-term, retire early. But the first thing was, oh my God, life would be so much easier if we can afford for my wife to stay home with the kids. Because when you have 2 full-time working parents and you have 2 children at home, various ages, it is a nightmare, man. It is a nightmare. Unless somehow you can afford a nanny or something to stay home with the kids, or if you have, you know, grandparents to stay home with them. No, if you're doing daycare, drop off, pick up, school, the other one's going to school, oh my God, and you two are pretty much the only ones involved. It's really hard. But anyway, that was the immediate, and that was the goal, to make enough income. And I was getting there. I was on the road there. And then YouTube. I've had a YouTube channel forever, and I've sucked at YouTube for a long time. I still suck at YouTube, to be honest. I don't really do anything special. But as I was covering this type of strategy, these funds, my YouTube channel was growing, and my income from YouTube was growing. And I noticed, I'm like, wait a second. this may be able to be enough for, you to quit your job. And, long story short, the YouTube income was growing and growing. And I was like, you know what? I told my wife one day, I'm like, quit your job. She thought I was kidding. Of course, she's like, no way. Because she's not as involved with the finances as me. Nor does she care as much as investing as me. But I basically told her, yeah, we can do this. And again, after maybe 1, 2, maybe as much as 3 months, she finally left her job. And we have one parent working, which again, that's always a dream. It was always a dream in my eyes because we couldn't afford it. My full-time income was never enough. But now we're making it happen, and it's certainly a relief. And now I look back, I'm like, how the hell did we ever do this when both of us were working? Because the thing is, then both of us were working and I was still doing YouTube videos. I don't know how, but again, we were just doing it. It was happening. So, and that was the problem. Like, you think sometimes just gotta make shit happen. So, and that's why, like, I kept consistent with everything. I kept consistent with the dividend income account, firing away. I kept consistent with the YouTube content, as I still am. And, it's just been the focus and the number one, and it's worked. So I am super grateful that it all worked out this way. And obviously, of course, I understand things can change on a dime, but, it is what it is. But what the hell was I saying? Now it's like drizzling just enough to be annoying. But yeah. So yeah, obviously that was the main decision on withdrawing the contributions from the Roth IRA. And I do not regret that for one damn second. And I do it again over and over again. In fact, my wife, that she left her company, she had a Roth 401k as well. I'm like, does that allow me to take out the Roth contributions? I looked into it and it does not. So, at least from what I've read. If you guys heard differently, let me know. Freaking foggy as hell, this stupid window. But, so yeah, so that was the goal. And, and I'm still doing it. And by the way, currently, number-wise, YouTube, I'm making around $2,000 to $3,000 a month on YouTube income, and I'm pretty happy with that number. Do I think it's ever going to be more? Maybe. I don't know. My subscribers are growing. My watch hours not really growing, just kind of staying flat. So, but again, my content hasn't really changed. My content has stayed the same. Although I've gained viewers, I haven't gained as many watch hours. But I also understand that, talking to other YouTubers, that what I make is a lot, compared to in most cases. But at the same time, my content is a little different. Like, I do content daily at the same time every single day. So in my scenario, it's more of it's like a part-time job. Like, I have to get up early in order to get this video out, but I am getting rewarded for it. I'm getting paid for it. So it's not like I'm doing it for free. So to me, it's a part-time job. I know most people say, do what you love, this and that. And yeah, I love doing this, but it's still a job, right? In reality, yes, I'm doing this for money. Obviously, my goal with YouTube when I started, the goal was to make money. I didn't start it because I want my face on the screen. I want people to see me on the internet. No, you start it because you think it's possible for you to make money, which is a pipe dream. It's always, it's like, yeah, right. And then again, for 5 years, I didn't make a dime. I didn't make one freaking dime because I didn't make the qualification in order to be monetized. And it was finally like year 6, later year, I don't know what time, 5 or 6, that I made it to that point, and it's been really good ever since. Granted, I'm very small in the YouTube space, but it has treated me well, so I have no complaints about YouTube whatsoever. Obviously, YouTube takes their cut. I know a lot of people don't like it, but obviously they're a business, so they got to get their piece, which I get, because without them we can't do this. So what the hell are you complaining about? But outside of that, you got to deal with the haters out there, I guess. But whatever, there's always going to be haters everywhere. So if you want to make money by putting yourself out there on videos that people can watch, you're going to get haters, because they exist no matter what. There's people out there that will never ever be happy no matter what, so they will complain about everything. So if they'll complain about everything, obviously they're going to complain about what I talk about. So if you're going to make a YouTube channel, as long as you understand that and you're okay with it, you'll be just fine. Which, by the way, if you're someone listening to this and you are thinking about creating a YouTube channel, do yourself a favor. Stop thinking about it and just do it. Take your phone after this video, after you watch all the commercials. No, I'm just kidding. Take your phone, hit record a video, and make your first YouTube video. Post it, make a YouTube channel, and post it up right now. As soon as possible. And there you go, your YouTube journey begun. That's exactly what I did. I said, you know what, I'm going to start my YouTube. But how the hell am I going to do it? At the time I had maybe my son was 2. I'm like, I can't do it at home. I don't want anyone to know I'm making a YouTube. I don't want my wife to know. It's embarrassing. So what I did is I put it in my cup holder in the car, and I hit record, and I talked about my dividend investing journey, my investing journey. And I did that, and I eventually started making videos at home, and that's it. Videos on the car, videos on the home, and then eventually I started making videos on the phone, and again, I've never done anything fancy though. It's always been on the phone. It wasn't until recently where I actually set up a live interview with one of the fund managers. I'm like, I honestly didn't know how I could do it from the phone, nor did I want to waste their time and find out and have screw ups. So I had to go buy a MacBook, because I didn't have a computer, because I just used everything, my work computer. I had my work computer to do shit, but obviously I'm not going to use it for that. So I bought my own computer for the interview, and now I use the computer to help with my spreadsheets and all that, which, it's a huge blessing that I even bought that. So that was a great investment to the channel. But yeah, like I was saying, guys, if you're interested in an additional income source, and you have a hobby that you think you can cover on YouTube, just do it. Honestly, just do it. Who gives a damn what people say? I mean, my channel is the perfect example that shows anybody can do this. Again, I don't have a microphone. I don't have a special camera. I don't even have a computer half the time. I do everything on my phone. Everything. Again, I have the laptop for certain things now when needed, but I don't even need it. I just need it for the interviews, really. In reality, I can do everything on the phone except the interviews. So just think about that. So if you have something like, if you're into fitness and nutrition and you want to talk about it on the way to work, do it. What do you got to lose? Someone's going to say, oh man, look at this moron. Believe me, in the beginning, when you're just starting off and you're getting the hate comments, it's a lot more rough, because you're like, oh my God, because you're thinking, no one's going to want to watch this. Why would anyone care? It's not until you have a certain amount of people watching, you're like, all right, people actually care, so I'm going to continue. Anyway, I kind of went off on a YouTube tangent there, but it's a huge part of my income source at the moment. So my dividend income was supposed to be replacing my wife's income, but YouTube actually replaced my wife's income. Okay, plus obviously, me lowering my contributions into my investments. So plus minus, full-time daycare bill. So again, it all worked out. And currently, I cannot put additional funds into my account, into my investment account, because my full-time income alone, again, plus YouTube income, is just enough to pay the bills. Sometimes, again, YouTube varies. It could be all over the place, right? Like I said, it could be, I've had recently, my recent lowest was 1,700. My recent high was 3,000. So it could be anywhere within that range, if you guys were wondering. But if I can make a consistent 3,000 a month, that would be ideal, but that's not easy. Like that 3,000, that was a perfect month. I kind of busted my ass that month, because I had my goal. I was like, I'm gonna hit 3,000 that month, and I busted my ass, and I did. This month, I'm not gonna hit 3,000 because I just can't. You can't do videos like that all the time, especially when you have a full-time job and 2 kids at home. So with just my daily videos, if I could crank out 2,000 a month, that should be enough to survive. So I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm not gonna make this. I'm not gonna wear myself out beyond belief. I'm just gonna, do what I need to do. So anyway, the dividend income that I'm producing, which again I'm around the same money, like 2,000 a month. Last month I think I made like almost 2,300. That is what I'm building up in order for me to retire early. That is the account that is going to help me retire early. And as far as what number I need for that, I haven't really thought too far about that, because I have to consider many different factors, right? Am I going to need as much income as my full-time income? And I think I need more, to be honest, because although most full-time jobs have benefits, and although benefits suck, they still, the premium you pay from an employer versus on your own is going to be much cheaper. So you have to consider health benefits, especially for a family of 4. So that is like one of the biggest things I have to consider, especially, as of recently, both of my kids one got stitches, one had to go to the ER, one is on medicine. They're both finally recovering, but long story short, you don't even want to know what medical bills cost. Well, you probably know, but you get the gist. Like, you can't have shit like that happen and you're not working. So if you're going to retire on dividends, you need to make sure that you make enough for emergencies. So you have to build up an income source, to me, that exceeds your current income source. Because not only do you need to be ready for the emergency instances, but you need some money to reinvest, because again, you always want to help build up, because these high yielders, most of them, you have to kind of reinvest anyway. So you need to make enough to reinvest at least 25%, I would think. Again, I don't have that sweet spot yet, but that's just like throwing out numbers. And then, like I said, health insurance, that's huge cost, huge expense. And then there's the other bill, like your normal day-to-day bills. But again, less expenses would be on the car. Right now I'm driving to work, 1 hour to work, 40 miles one way. That's wear and tear on a car. That won't happen, right? That won't happen as much, right? Like next week I'm traveling for work. I think I'm driving at least 3 hours one way. Obviously I'm staying overnight. I don't know how I'm gonna do the freaking videos, by the way, but that's wear and tear on the car. And you're not gonna get as much wear and tear on the car if you're not commuting to work. So there's other expenses that go down, like things like that. do you even need 2 cars, right? Do you need 2 cars, or can you share a car if you're both not working, right? Maybe you could share a car, right? But again, my car's so old and cheap, like it wouldn't make sense. So what else? There's so many different things to factor in. Just even talking about it, I get excited because, again, you're of the mindset. I'm 40, well, I just turned 42 years old. Again, of being of the mindset of working till 62 minimum, and now that's 20 years away. Again, that's not that far, really, but cutting off the retirement age by 10 years, that's huge, right? Versus working 20. In 10 years, my kids will be 12 and 18. So, they're still young, and I get to spend as much time as I want with them at that point. Like Monday through Friday is no longer out, because right now people who work, typically they work Monday through Friday, and who knows how early they go in, who knows how late they get home, but most things are not possible. Granted, I always make time for coaching on my son's sports, but that's not easy either. You have to work that around your schedule at your job, which, again, some jobs aren't as flexible, but we're just all so programmed to do this. Like, we have to work until a certain age. But anyway, this video kind of went all over the place, but I also wanted to mention that I just applied for margin in my brokerage, in the same taxable brokerage. I wasn't going to do it for the longest time because I didn't know how I was going to pay it, because I wasn't a trader. But now that these high yielders came out and they've been established, they've been out for a while, I'm comfortable with them, I'm gonna use margin. And there's a lot of brokers out there that, they offer really low margin, like IBKR, what is that, International Broke something, I forget, that one, and Robinhood offer 6 to 7% margin interest rate, which right now is considered super low. And then there's Schwab, Fidelity, they're around the 12 to 14% range. It depends on your balance, I think. But even that, you can still do well, because the funds that we're investing in, they yield anywhere from 20 to even up to 100%. So if you can make even close to that, you can pay off this margin interest and then make plenty of money at the same time. However, that does not go without risk. So obviously there's much more risk when you're investing with other people's money than your own. And that was the reason that I never got involved with margin, But I'm at the point now where I'm comfortable using it, especially if it's going to catapult me into retirement faster. Because again, right now, I can't invest more money into my investment account because we're living off one income. So, but if I could borrow other people's money, I'll pay them their 10%, whatever. Here's your interest. I'll keep, say, 30. Again, my goal is to yield 40% on an annualized basis. So if I'm making 40, I pay them 10, I keep 30. So that's additional 30%, on money that I wouldn't have otherwise had. So margin, again, I literally just signed up. I've never used margin, so more to come on that. But that's going to possibly speed track the retirement plan. And I haven't had a chance to run the numbers, but when I do, I will let you know. I just have to ease my way in. I'm not going to jump full steam ahead, use all of the margin, and then, get margin called. I know that's a bad word, right? Margin call. But I mean, in the end, right, they call you, they sell your shares. Okay, whatever. Like that's the worst case scenario. They sell your shares. Okay. But you don't want it to get to that point anyway. So if you borrow a certain amount that you're not in danger of that, then that's fine. Again, as I learn, I will share what I learn that helps you guys out. But the summary is, I'm going to borrow a specific percentage, start off with, and then maybe 20%. So if I'm getting, right now I think I have 50,000. My account's at 54,000 capital. They're gonna let me use 50,000 in margin. So I'm gonna borrow 20%, which is $10,000. And I'm gonna use that money to invest in high yield dividends. And that income that I get each month, it'll pay off the margin. And guess what? Guess what'll happen? I will use the margin again, right? It'll pay down the margin, because I don't know what the balance will be, but either way, say if I use 10,000 in margin and I get paid 2,000 a month, that 2,000, I believe, this is how it works on Schwab, per Commute, if I get paid 2,000, that'll just decrease, the amount of margin that I have outstanding. So if it's 10,000 outstanding, it'll go to 8,000, and then I'll just use that 2,000 again, putting it back up to the 10,000 number. So hopefully that makes sense. That's my plan, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, it's going to make me feel a little differently about my investments. It's going to make me feel a little more risky in the beginning until I get comfortable. But in summary, I think it's time. It's time for me to utilize, margin, to borrow money at a lower rate, of which I think I can make more than double that rate. So why the hell would I not try, right? I'm not going to sit around anymore and just wait. I'm going to do what I can to build this income source. Again, I consider this my account. Why am I? Yes, I have to pay taxes on the income, but it is my emergency income source, which will eventually convert to my retirement income. Right now, yes, I'm not using it, but I'm reinvesting all of it. But if I need to use it for an emergency, I will. If not, I'll reinvest it. But that's what it's there for. Yes, I pay taxes on it. I don't give a damn. I'm happy to. It is what it is. You can't freaking avoid taxes. If I have to pay taxes now versus locking up my money until 59 and a half, I will pay taxes now. Any day of the week. If you guys feel otherwise, then that's your choice, and you can invest till you're 59 and a half. If you can do both, even better. I can't afford to max out all of my retirement vehicles and invest in a taxable income enough that I can retire early. So if I ever get to the point where I can do both, great, but that's not happening. I'm too far along in the process. I'm too old. So I have to, stick with what I've been doing, and hopefully, again, I can retire by the age of 50. That's going to be my goal. That's not 10 years, it's 8 years at this point, because I'm 42 now. But if I could retire at 50, that would be a beautiful thing. And again, I tell people this at work. You tell even family members, they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, okay. And then just like I tell my YouTube channel, like, what? Granted, I don't tell many people I have a YouTube channel, because I don't think they need to know, especially, certain people. Like, why? I don't know. If they find me, so be it. But I'm not going to go around and be like, yeah, everyone follow me, friends and family. But, I'll tell certain people, but not everyone. Anyway, I'm almost at work. I need to start getting motivated to work out. Going to the work gym, get a workout in, and then go to work 4 to 5 hours, and then work out at lunch, and then finish the day, work another 4 hours, and then leave, right? And then drive home and do this, eat dinner, go to sleep, do the same exact thing tomorrow. And that's it, And will I make another commute video tomorrow? Probably not. I don't know. Depends on you guys, Maybe I will. Maybe if we get like 1,000 views, I'll say, today, maybe we'll do another commute video. I know, it's stupid, but why not have some? It's good to have fun too. All right, guys, not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you were entertained. If not, we'll try again the next time, right? That's all we can do. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below. If you have suggestions on commute topics, then let me know. Because again, I commute to work twice a week. Next week, I'm commuting 3 hours. I'll have my GPS on, so I probably can't do a podcast, but I don't know, maybe on the way home. But either way, I think that's all I got for today. So just want to thank you guys for watching, and yeah, that's it. Keyword, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, the keyword is retire early, right? Retire early, prove everyone wrong, you could do it, and retire early. Simple, just simple. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I will talk to you later.